We have a Delaware man who ends up killing his hospital coworkers after he was fired, or attempted to kill. He killed one. One of them is still in critical condition. Let's get over into it and see what this whole thing is about.
Suspect in a deadly double shooting inside Wilmington Hospital has been captured.
The manhunt ended in Philadelphia, and now the 23-year-old man is in custody awaiting extradition to Delaware. We have live team coverage. Action News reporter Catherine Scott will have more on the arrest in the Olney section of the city.
But let's begin with Action News reporter Brianna Gallagher live outside the hospital this morning with more on what we're learning. Brianna, good morning.
Good morning, Aliana and Matt. A really traumatic afternoon for patients and hospital staff, and sources with ABC News confirmed that this was strictly a workplace shooting. Regardless, some very scary moments unfolded inside those hospital doors.
You assume that being in the hospital, you're someplace safe, right?
This video was taken by Kristen Lackford, a patient at Wilmington Hospital in Delaware. From her hospital bed, she could see law enforcement with long guns and tactical gear canvassing the hallway.
I was hitting my call bell and no one was coming, no one was answering. And finally, a nurse came in and said, listen, we're on lockdown.
For nearly 4 hours, the hospital was on lockdown as SWAT searched for the suspect. All patients and visitors were told to shelter in place in the nearest room. According to officials, an employee shot 2 other hospital employees, killing one of them.
I asked what was going on, and they said that a disgruntled IT employee that was fired came back and there was an active shooter in the building.
Chopper 6 shows people being escorted out from the hospital, holding their hands up in the air once the scene was secured.
You have to be one cold-hearted person to shoot up your co-workers after being fired. I mean, come on now. Who hasn't been fired? And I know it's a shock, but what is shooting up the building going to do other than get you sent to jail? And now your life is over. You could have easily gone to hopefully find another job. IT, you could have found another job. But now it's over for you. Let's keep going.
Uniting with loved ones after a traumatic few hours, not knowing how things would turn out.
I was in the emergency room and you could hear the shots go off, but it was pretty scary. It was pretty intense. My prayers are out with everyone.
Now, officials have not released any information regarding the hospital employee that was shot and killed or the condition of the second employee that was just shot. Any information, all of this still remains under investigation.
Let's go over to this next video and see what else we can find out, y'all. Oh, well, no, we still got
live here this morning in Wilmington, Delaware. Brianna Gallagher, Channel 6 Action News. Matt.
Yeah, that woman said it right. You know, you think you're going to be safe at a hospital. You don't expect something like this to happen. Brianna, thank you. We want to turn now to Catherine Scott, live along 8th Street in Olney, where the very active investigation ended in an arrest. Catherine.
That's right. The suspect is now being interviewed by homicide detectives. Charges and extradition to Delaware are pending. There were police here in Olney and multiple blocks throughout the night. Where we were, they cleared about 40 minutes ago, but this remains an active investigation. Let's go to that video from overnight. You could see police in Olney. Law enforcement agencies converged on this area in connection to the double shooting at Wilmington Hospital. You could see agents and officers in the area north of North 8th and 9th Streets from around Ruscombe up to West Wellands. A Toyota RAV4 was towed from the scene and a male was taken into custody around 9:30 p.m. Law enforcement sources say license plate readers were an important resource as they tracked movements related to the person taken into custody. For perspective, Action News spoke with safety and security consultant Maureen Rush, who before this served as vice president for public safety and superintendent of Penn Police. She discussed what comes next in the investigation.
I think the first thing they're going to do is the why, right? So they're going to go to HR and say, has there been any issues with this employee? If he's a temp employee, go to the temp service. Has there been any issues with this person? Obviously, they know where he lives. Hopefully, they can then track down a family member, a parent, a spouse.
So far, authorities are trying to learn more about this suspect. His name has not yet been released.
But, of course, it has been released. Let's get over into the next one.
We turn now to the latest developments in that deadly hospital shooting in Wilmington, Delaware.
A 23-year-old suspect has been taken into custody now in Philadelphia's Olney neighborhood last night after that manhunt. Investigators say he opened fire at the Wilmington hospital at around 3 yesterday afternoon. Law enforcement say the suspect is a hospital employee who shot 2 other employees. One of them has died.
We have team coverage. Brianna Gallagher will have more from patients about the terrifying moments inside the hospital. But we're going to begin with Catherine Scott with more on the arrest and investigation from Olney. Catherine.
Well, we've been speaking with neighbors this morning, and they said that there was a heavy police presence here last night. This remains an active investigation. So far, the name of the suspect has not been released. The investigation into yesterday's double shooting at Wilmington Hospital that claimed 1 life stretched to the Olney section of Philadelphia, where a 23-year-old suspect was taken into custody around 9:30 last night. Officers were called to Wilmington Hospital around 3:30 p.m. for what authorities are calling a targeted, isolated incident, during which 2 people were shot. The hospital was placed on lockdown. Hours later, law enforcement agencies converged in Olney at several addresses, including 9th and Lindley. A Toyota RAV4 was towed a few blocks away. Law enforcement sources say license plate readers were an important resource as they tracked movements related to the person taken into custody. For perspective, Action News spoke with safety and security.
We got the gist of this one. Let's go to the next one. Let's get over into the AI breakdown just to wrap all this up and see what else we can find out about this whole situation, y'all. So as we know, we had a deadly workplace shooting that occurred at the Wilmington Hospital in Delaware on Tuesday, June 16th. The targeted incident happened and left 1 person dead and another person critically injured. It happened around 3:30. The facility immediately initiated an active shooter alert and was placed on a strict lockdown for several hours. SWAT team swept the building floor to floor to secure the scene while patients and medical staff barricaded themselves inside of rooms. The lockdown was later lifted and the hospital has since returned to normal full operations. So the police has identified the suspect as 23-year-old John Wallace Bay of Newcastle, Delaware. He worked at the hospital as an information technology intern. Officials confirmed that he had been fired from his position earlier that same day prior to the shooting. Following the shooting, the suspect fled the scene in a white Toyota RAV4. Law enforcement tracked that vehicle using surveillance technology in that section of Philadelphia. Police arrested him on Tuesday night after he was spotted getting into an Uber. He remains held, awaiting extradition to Delaware. He faces multiple charges, including first-degree murder, first-degree attempted murder, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, and carrying a concealed deadly weapon. So we got the 2 victims. We have both victims were 19-year-old male co-workers and employees of the Wilmington Hospital. I was thinking it was maybe he went after his boss, but he went after some 19-year-old co-workers. 1 victim succumbed to his injuries and was pronounced dead. His identity is being withheld pending the family. The second victim survived the shooting, but ultimately hospitalized with critical injuries. Absolutely crazy, y'all. We got an image of him. Let's go over to here. So that is what he looks like, y'all. Jesus Christ. The world's a truly crazy place, y'all. The world is truly crazy. But we now understand what was happening in that situation. He got fired for most likely not doing his job, of course. And for some reason, he was so disgruntled, so angry, that he shot at coworkers, not his boss, at coworkers, 19-year-old coworkers. We know we know what needs to happen to him. He needs to be in jail for the rest of his life. You shoot at a hospital? At a hospital of all places? Yeah, you don't care about other people. You don't care about your life. So you need to be in jail with the rest of the crazy criminals. And hopefully you never get out. But we'll have to wait for his whole sentencing and see what else we can find out. But that's a crazy situation, y'all. Let me know your thoughts and let me know if you disagree with anything I said. That's absolutely wild. We will keep up with this, but